I'm a rolling stone, bound to roam. Come the morning, or I'll be gone. Pouring rain, oh, to hear that train. There she comes, won't you get on? Won't you get on?
Well, I've got the speed plate device on the tires, airing all 4 tires down to about 20, maybe 25 psi. It's been a long several months working in the shop on the Sprinter van, getting that thing ready to go for adventures. But 38 weeks later, the final screw has been screwed, the final hole has been drilled, and I've put the final crimp on the final wire. And it's time to get out here for some adventure. Right now we are in the Anza-Borrego area between the Salton Sea and San Diego. And out here the temperature skyrockets up to over 100 degrees. About to travel out across some rough and rugged desert terrain out here in Southern California. Taking a trek out across the desert towards the Salton Sea, up north into the Joshua Tree National Park, out across into the Mojave Desert, the final destination of Las Vegas. My goal with this is to explore as much overland territory out here as much as possible. This is the first trip for the Sprinter van out here in the desert. We're gonna see what this thing's all about. I built it for occasions like this. Hopefully everything has come together accordingly as planned. We're gonna find out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the adventure. Let's do it. Okay, we might be at a spot where we're getting into a little bit of a sketchy situation here. I did pass a sign a few minutes ago that said, warning, extreme drop off ahead. And right now I'm at a sign that says 4x4 vehicles only, and this is a steep drop off, so I guess there's only one way to find out. I mean, after all, this is the whole reason why I bought a 4x4 Sprinter van, is to be able to come out here and do 4x4 stuff. So this is going to be the true test. We're out here on this trail. I've prepared myself as much as possible. Lots of experience in the van again, building this thing out with every possible component, tool, recovery gear, tires, lift kit, suspension, etc. Well, I've taken a walk down here to check this out, and to be honest with you, at this point I don't feel like it's anything that I'm uncomfortable with, so I'm gonna go ahead and proceed down this hill. I definitely wouldn't want to do it with it wet, and I definitely wouldn't want to have to come back up it with it wet, but there are some rutted potholes, off camber type stuff that might be a little bit of a challenge. But the nice thing about the four-wheel drive on the Sprinter van is that it does have descent control, so that will definitely help. Basically, I'm just gonna have to take my time, creep it down here. Let's hop to it. Oh man, I've got to say, guys, that is a heavy van for that steep a hill. This terrain is super loose. It's almost sandy. It's very rugged. It's all rutted out. There's off camber potholes, so one tire's up, the other tire's down, and it's just undulating back and forth. I tell you what, that descent control on the van, it's nice. It did keep me in a straight line. It kept me out of the major ruts, which could have been a catastrophe. But the main thing is, made it through. Super stoked on that. And the light and the view out here in this desert is just tremendous right now. It's my most favorite time of the day to be out in the desert. Something special about it right now, that's for sure. Well, I've got to say, I'm damn lucky that I had the extra clearance from the Van Compass lift kit and the oversized BFG tires. Getting down through that, I don't know if you guys could hear it on the video, but every time I dropped into one of those off-camber potholes, I was bottoming out, dragging bottom. So thank goodness for that extra height. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made it down without more damage to the van. But we made it through. That was exciting. And now we're at the bottom of this very cool canyon. So the adventure continues. I got to get down out of here, go find a camp spot because light is fading quickly. my way through this area. I am now out in Ocotillo Wells. I don't need to necessarily travel too far tonight. I just want to get myself to a decent, safe camp spot. But someplace is going to be cool to be able to wake up to in the morning. I've got my Gaia navigation going here, getting me through this area. I think I'll be able to land something fairly decent, hunker down for the night, and see what tomorrow brings. But there is a heck of a wind blowing, kicking up a lot of this dust. It's pretty crazy. Waking up here this morning out in the desert in the Ocotillo Wells area, not far from the Mexican border actually, probably 20-25 miles as the crow flies south of here. But it's so quiet, just a gentle breeze. But it's definitely a very, very cool way to wake up and spend a morning out here. I had to get out and just get a shot of this right here. This is epic. This right here is when you're able to build out a van with good suspension, the oversized tires, you got the ground clearance, you've got the approach angles both at the entry and the exit to be able to get yourself through tight situations like this. Definitely putting the Sprinter van to the test out here in Ocotillo Wells. I just made my way down out of the Ocotillo Wells trail system. I've got the speed plate on the onboard air compressor, airing up all 4 tires because I do have a trek for several miles across the pavement over to the other off-road section of this journey on my way over to Las Vegas. But that journey out through Ocotillo Wells was quite an experience this morning. Lots of excellent 4x4 trails, and I have to say that I am more than pleased with how the Sprinter van handled itself out here. Of course, moving up to a bigger machine over the van again, I was quite nervous and hoping that the 4-wheel drive was going to make up for that. And I've got to say, I didn't feel limited on this trip at all. We'll see what happens on the journey ahead. But at this point, airing up the tires, gonna hit the road, see what lies ahead on this adventure. Made about a 40-mile trek via pavement. I'm now on the east side of the Salton Sea, about to head up here in these hills behind me. I found this trek out across here using my Gaia app, and it's gonna take us up into a wash through a trail and towards Joshua Tree National Park. But it's gonna be quite a few miles of dirt road, potentially rugged, so we're gonna deflate. I take the back down to about 25 psi. I take the front down to about 17, and that seems to be fairly good. Only takes a few minutes to do, so I'll jump back over there, take a look at see what the psi is. The temperature right now is sitting at about 108 degrees according to the thermometer on the van. It's quite hot for sure. And this is where I have that love-hate relationship with the desert. Middle of the day, the light is just nasty, the heat is nasty, but I tell you what, it's right about that 5 o'clock time in the evening where the light just transforms the desert into a magical place. And of course, the same with the morning time when the sun is coming up. Well, I've made it up on top of this ridge on this trail that took me up out of the wash. I'm just south of Joshua Tree National Park, but this is one hell of a cool trail. The way it just follows this ridge, and there's steep drop-offs on either side. Sometimes this ridge is only as wide as the trail at the very top, and it meanders along here. But take a look here down into this wash. You can tell the flash floods really just dig at that. Super cool though. Look at this all the way around. Panoramic views up here. This is a pretty cool way to travel, that is for sure. Okay, well, there are a few sections here where the trail gets a tad bit gnarly here. Some off cambers, some tilting. This one's going to be a bit of a challenge. It's got a bit of a pothole on the inside. On the outside is a high berm. That makes it a little tricky with a really tall van like this. But we've got ourselves in this situation now, and we're going to have to see if we can make it through it. This right here is going to be the challenge. This drops off. This drops off right here. High camber, high spot here. Plus I'm coming around the corner, so we're just going to have to see what we can do. I'm going to try and square it off as much as possible and head up this way. So put my left tire here, right tire here. That way by the time I'm hitting this one's starting to drop in and I'm going to come up. That's my game plan at this point. We'll see what happens. All right. That's a tough spot for a big old van like that, but hey, we managed through. See if we can get ourselves the rest of the way out of here. Nice quick and simple breakfast this morning. I'm running way behind schedule and I've got to make some major headway today on my route to Vegas. Basically 2 days behind at this point, so just grabbing a quick bite to eat that's simple and quick, and then we'll be hitting the road. Well, I just made my way out across the valley floor of the Joshua Tree National Park on the Old Dale Road. Now, the Old Dale Road was a road that was in service way back in the day when they were doing a bunch of mining out here, and it was a service road to get back and forth to the mines. At this point, we're going to start climbing up into some gnarly territory. We've got this mountain pass that you can see behind me that we're actually going to cross on dirt road. It looks like things are going to get a little bit rugged, but we're going to make our way outside the Joshua Tree National Park, and at that point we're going to be able to throw the drone up and get some drone shots to truly tell the story of the terrain that we're traveling here today. I definitely am one to believe fully in mechanical lockers, but for a Sprinter van that doesn't have mechanical lockers, the computer system on the traction control really does a good job of managing the traction in situations like this where one tire starts losing traction. You just keep your foot into it and that thing keeps on coming, especially when that torque of the diesel kicks in. Then there's no stopping it for sure. Amboy, California, and the infamous Route 66, one of the most famous routes across the United States. This here is true Americana. Right now I'm parked at Roy's Motel Cafe. In fact, I stopped here to top off with diesel because out here with temperatures sitting at about 101 degrees Fahrenheit in the Mojave Desert, you just don't take the chance of not knowing where your next fuel stop's going to be. Amboy was actually founded in 1858, and it provided a rest stop for travelers traveling across America looking for a better life in California. Imagine traveling out across these parts back in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, when Route 66 was one of the only routes connecting the east to the west. Right now it's all but abandoned. This is a little bit of a roadside attraction for people to stop and take a look at and get an idea of what it might have been like way back in the day. All that's left now is a fuel stop, this hotel, a United States Post Office, and a small church that doesn't look like it's got much activity.
Oh, I ain't gonna live like this no more. Most of my life's been waging war till I found peace. I could've swore what she did shook me to the core, and I ain't gonna live like that no more. Well, I ain't gonna live like this no more. Trouble comes when the barmaid pours another for a man who should have found the door. Oh, when I get going, you can hear me roar. And no, I can't live like this no more.
The slide out kitchen here in the Sprinter van is just there to provide an opportunity for a quick and easy way to cook up a meal. And I wanted to demonstrate that in tonight's video. Now, before everybody gets all up in arms and thinks that that is the end of campfire cooking and Dutch oven cooking, I want to stop you right there and let you know that that is not indeed the actual end of any of that. I tell you what, it's been a long couple of days. It's been a lot of miles of traveling on some very rough and rugged terrain. Definitely put the van through its paces, and it performed quite well. And here we are, way out in the Mojave Desert, completely off grid, not a single person around. Just us, some crickets, and some van life. This is what it was all built on right here. These moments where it's quiet, when the desert comes alive, the wind, the crickets, the bugs, the birds, just straight up the desert. This right here is the absolute magical time of the desert. There's a nice cool breeze blowing across the landscape. A complete contrast from the heat of the day, where it's hot and arid and bland. Just listen to that for a second. Listen. That right there is the sound of nothing, but it's also the sound of everything, all at once. It truly is my favorite time to be out here in spaces like this. It's so calm and quiet. And from the heat of the day, where it's normally 105, 109, it makes it super unenjoyable to even be out here. We all come across those times where life is tough, life is hard. We don't want to do it. Why am I doing this? Why am I here? But honestly, it's those downtimes that make the uptimes so special. And it's healthy to endure those downtimes and to push through it. To take the chance and be like, you know what? It's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. And that's what the last 38 weeks of my life has been all about. I've spent endless amount of hours and days and nights and months in a shop building the Sprinter van, thinking that it was never going to end. Not even knowing what I was going to end up with in the end. Was this thing going to take me to the spots that I really want to go? Was it all going to pay off? You don't know. I sure as heck didn't know. But when you have a vision, you have an idea, you have a plan, you got to stick through it and you got to push through to the end. Because you never know what you're going to get on the other side. This is it right here. This is definitely it. 38 weeks later. Started this project on December 22nd of 2020. And it literally wasn't until the last few days that I actually screwed the last screw, drilled the last drill, bolted on the last bolt. And now we put this thing to the test. Here we are. Pretty damn special moment out here in the Mojave Desert. There's a lot of naysayers out there, but when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter. Because at the end, you got to do it for what's right here. Right here in your heart. Nonetheless, I would say that it has been one hell of an adventure. Just getting the Sprinter van out across the desert from Borrego Springs and out here into the Mojave Desert on my way over to Las Vegas. But also just getting the Living the Van Life YouTube channel all the way to this point. It's just been recently that the channel has clicked over to over 560,000 subscribers. And never did I ever think that that would actually be possible. But it's you guys that I have to thank for that. And so I want to give a very, very special thank you to you, the subscribers, for sticking with me all the way through this crazy and wild adventure. I'd also like to personally invite you guys over to the brand new Living the Van Life website at www.livingthevanlife.com, where we've got some very cool new LTVL t-shirts, and also fall time and winter time is quickly approaching, so you better go get your hands on the brand new LTVL hoodies. Go on over to the website, check it out. There's also lots of other apparel, stickers, hats are soon to come. I know you guys have been asking for that, but nonetheless, it's there. Go on over and check it out. And at this point, I would say this wraps up this here Living the Van Life adventure. If you guys are new to the channel, you've made it this far into the video, I'd like to invite you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button, and also make sure and leave your feedback in the comment section down below. I'm going to hit the hay, and I got to get out of here first thing in the morning and make it over to Las Vegas. All right, guys. Peace out. Keep on trucking.